my first guest tonight, Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia, who joins me now. Governor, thank you for being here for the premiere of the first show.
Kaitlan, congratulations on this great show. It's great to be with you and have a chance to talk about Virginia. We have a lot of great things going on there.
You do have a lot going on in Virginia, and you recently went 10 for 10 in the contested primaries in your home state. The candidates that you endorsed all won. Your own election in Virginia was also seen as a playbook for Republicans across the country. When you look at Virginia and you look at 2024, what do you think Republicans need to do nationally to win in 2024? What can they learn from you?
Well, I have to look back at what we learned in 2021. First and foremost is we've got to listen to the voters. And I listened to a lot of Virginians about what issues were most important to them. And I think the same issue set will be presented this year in our 2023 elections, which we have in Virginia. Our whole House, our whole Senate is up. That's what I'm really focused on. And that issue set's really clear. Cost of living's run away from folks, and they're worried about the economy. They're worried about public safety. They're really worried about education. They're worried about behavioral health. I hear it over and over again. And so we focused on that in 2021, and we put together a really common sense platform in order to address these issues. And when I was hired, we went to work, and we got a lot done, even with a split legislature. With a House controlled by Republicans and a Senate controlled by Democrats, common sense prevailed. We cut taxes. We invested a record amount in education, a record amount in law enforcement. We went to work on behavioral health. We've made tremendous strides, and that's why I'm confident this year that the voters will be very pleased with the work that we've done in Virginia.
One other thing voters have been concerned about is abortion, though. It is still top of the mind for a lot of voters, including in Virginia and in those elections. You have said that you've pushed for a 15-week ban and that it's up to the states. It's a states issue after Roe versus Wade was overturned. But are federal candidates or candidates running for the 2024 nomination pushing for a federal ban? Are they wrong?
Well, let me just begin with where things stand in Virginia. So I'm a pro-life governor. That's what Virginians elected. I believe in exceptions in the case of rape and incest and when the mother's life is at risk. And just 3 years ago in Virginia, the Democrat-controlled legislature and governor were pushing for abortion to be legal all the way up through and including birth. And Virginians viewed that as way too extreme. And so when the Roe v. Wade decision came down, I viewed it as a chance to bring people together, around a bill that would protect life at 15 weeks when a baby can feel pain. And I believe this is a place that we can come together. What I hear from Virginians over and over again is that abortion all the way up through and including birth is far too extreme, and that they want fewer abortions, not more. And I think we can come together on this topic, and I think it will be something that is discussed extensively during this election in 2023.
It will be, but what about a federal ban?
Well, I
don't
think,
for that?
Yeah, I don't think that, I think that where common sense brings us together is around a 15-week bill that protects life when a child can feel pain. And this is a really important moment. There's a chance for us in Virginia to really demonstrate leadership, to bring people together on a topic that has really been a divisive one. And this is why I am focused on coming together on a topic that has historically been one that's divided people. Let's unite each other.
You talk about coalescing around 15 weeks. Governor DeSantis is a fellow governor of yours, a Republican, who signed a 6-week ban in Florida. He is obviously running against Donald Trump for the nomination. He hasn't done as people had predicted he would. He hasn't been as big of a challenge to Trump as people thought he would. Do you think you would be able to be a challenge to Trump?
Well, as I've said to folks, because I've been asked this question frequently, one, I'm humbled by it. You know, I've been at this for 18 months. And gosh, 40 years ago, I was washing dishes and taking out trash in Virginia Beach because I needed a job. But I think what has been demonstrated is that when someone brings common sense to an office like a governor in Virginia, and you get a lot done, and we deliver on promises made, people pay attention. And I'm encouraged by that because I think what folks are seeing in Virginia is that common sense prevails. And when we lower taxes and streamline regulations and invest a record amount in education and stand up for law enforcement and prioritize behavioral health, change can happen and good things come of it. And that's what's encouraging to me. But as I've said to folks, I am focused on 2023. The entire legislature's up this year. Our House and our Senate.
Yeah,
I want to hold our
race.
House, and I want to turn our Senate.
And I've heard you say that you're humbled by this when people ask you about this, but you've never ruled it out.
Well, I think what is most encouraging is the frequency that people are asking because of what's going on in Virginia. And what I've constantly said is, and you just said that the Iowa caucus has been pulled forward into January. I'm not in Iowa. I'm not at state fairs.
Will you be in January?
I'm going to be in Virginia. And
in January, you will not be in Iowa.
Well, this is where you have to be, and I don't think I'll be in Iowa. I think I'm going to be in Virginia. We're going to do everything we can to hold our House, flip our Senate, and lead. And this is what I was hired to do, and that's what's exciting to me.
So are you going to rule it out?
Well, again, I'm going to repeat to you one more time. And you've asked this in very creative ways, and I've had it from many folks, and I've said many, many times that I'm focused on Virginia. And this is one of these moments where we in Virginia can demonstrate that with common sense, with collaboration, with strong principles. Listen, I believe what I believe, and I think I've been very clear that we're going to lower taxes and we're going to streamline regulations. We're going to back parents. We're going to reestablish excellence in education. We're going to fund law enforcement. We're going to fix behavioral health. These are the issues that Virginians have been focused on. And what we've been able to do, Kaitlan, is I think deliver. And I'm incredibly humbled by the fact that there's been some focus on what we're doing, and that has translated into some national interest. Well, but I've said over and over again, I'm focused on the Commonwealth.
Virginia is often also a bellwether for national politics. People have looked at your run. You also did put out a video not that long ago that a lot of people thought looked like a presidential campaign video. But, you know, when you talk about what Republicans need to do to win back the White House, you're talking about mirroring what you're doing. Do you think Donald Trump is the best option for Republicans right now? Is he the best your party has to offer?
Well, here's what I believe, that we will nominate a candidate who will win. I believe that it's time.
You think whoever the Republican candidate is will defeat Biden?
I think it's time for a Republican leader. I think what's been demonstrated from the Biden White House is that foreign policy weakness and a disarray in the economy and a full lack of understanding about how all the pieces fit together has resulted in America struggling. Inflation is the biggest issue on voters' minds. Crime is the second biggest issue on voters' minds. And third is education. And I see it and hear it every day from Virginians. And there's nothing that's come out of the Biden White House to address these issues, these most important kitchen table issues. And so I think this is a great opportunity for common sense, conservative values to be reflected in a candidate. I'm going to back whoever the candidate is, and I think it's a great chance for Republicans to lead again.
Okay, so even if that candidate is Donald Trump, when he was indicted recently in the documents investigation, you posted a tweet saying that the charges were unprecedented. You called it a sad day for the country, and you referred to a two-tier justice system. But now that you've seen the indictment, we've heard Trump in his own words in that audio tape, do you still not think that he should be held accountable for what is being alleged in that indictment?
Well, let me back up and just be clear that what we've seen happen to the former president is inconsistent with what we've seen happen in other circumstances with elected officials.
Like which one?
And I think this is what folks are concerned about. There's plenty of allegations against the current Biden White House and things that have gone on there. And in Virginia, one of the things that we saw was that parents standing up at school board meetings and demanding transparency and accountability in their children's education was met by the Justice Department of the United States with accusations of being terrorists that was alleged by one of the teachers' unions. I mean, this is the inconsistency that Virginians and I believe Americans see, and it's something that undermines people's trust in the system.
But you can have concerns about that, but the allegations against Trump are completely different than that. He was the commander-in-chief. They say that he took documents related to national security, our allies' weaknesses, U.S. weaknesses. I mean, he's on this audio tape talking about the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Do you have any issue after you've seen that indictment and heard that audio?
Kaitlan, I think the big concern from people is the fact that this seems to be a differential treatment than what other elected officials are receiving. And I'll repeat it again. You know, one thing about justice is that it should be applied equally. And again, you know, with the home Virginia view, I was stunned that parents were being pursued by the Justice Department for showing up at school board meetings. This doesn't comport, and therefore I do think that this is what causes people to lose trust in our justice system.
One more question on this, because you talk about regular people and how they would be treated. If a regular person took home classified documents, as we've seen just happen to a Kansas City woman, they're sentenced to prison.
Yeah, and again,
they're being treated differently.
Again,
Trump was given a lot of leeway by the Justice Department here to return these documents.
As you continue to press on this topic, let me just be clear. It is the difference in approach that happens to different people that causes concern and a lack of faith in the system. As long as people are treated consistently, one elected official and another elected official, then I think that trust is actually furthered. And when they're treated differently, it's undermined.
I just think the Pence situation, the Biden situation, the Trump situation, they're all different in the sense of how they push the documents or return to the documents and how they participated.
But I don't think that the American people all see it that way.
But is that because they're not given the accurate information? I mean, Trump fought a 1.5-year subpoena from the Justice Department on this. He misled his own attorneys, according to this indictment, and had an aide moving boxes to essentially evade them.
Again, what we are learning as the curtain is pulled back on a variety of topics is that not all elected officials have been treated the same. And I think this is where people are scratching their heads. Why aren't all elected officials treated the same here? And in the case, again, of Virginia parents or the Biden administration, people are asking, that's the basic question.
Let me ask you another question about Virginia, because I know mental health in your state and how that's dealt with is really important to you. And we were looking at the numbers on this. Mental Health America ranked your state 48th in the nation this year when it came to what kids are dealing with and how they are treated with their issues. Why is your state ranked so low, and what are you doing to change that?
Yeah, it's such a great question. It is such a huge problem. First of all, that data is based on 2019 and 2020 comparative data. And so the first thing is that Virginia was ranked near the bottom before the pandemic. And then as you come through the pandemic, it only got worse. And our behavioral health system is being overwhelmed. And that's why I made it a top priority to transform it. And we launched this past December a complete transformation of our behavioral health system. It's called Right Help, Right Now, so that we can fundamentally build a system that can meet people where they are. It has to extend to children, particularly because we have a big gap to close. This is a top priority. You can't have the best state to live, work, and raise a family if you don't have a healthy state. And we have to treat mental health and health with equal attention.
Yeah, it's a really important issue. I know it's important to your administration. Governor Youngkin, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. Congratulations again on your show.
Thank you.